Okay, I'm going to show that the two different operations for addition and multiplication fractal central ghost number cubes. This is an addition cube, and I chose the small numbers 1, 1, 1, 1, or 1, and 2 in the back and 2 in the front for the inner primary numbers that generates this addition magic ghost number cube. Same thing here. I chose 1, 1, 1, 1, and 2 in the back and 2 in the front for this multiplication magic ghost number cube. Surprisingly, the central ghost number 4 is smaller than the addition magic ghost number, which is 8. But anyway, I'm concentrating on just the primary numbers and the central ghost number to be fractalized. In addition form, I've done it in my traditional way. Right here's the traditional way I did it. I labeled it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And this is a 2 by 2, 2 by 2 by 2, 2, 2, 2. And the central ghost number goes into these fractal added up ghost numbers, 84, 4 times, which is the faces, the cubic faces. The central ghost number goes into a 3 by 3 by 3. These fractal central ghost numbers. The original central ghost number 21 goes into the fractal central ghost numbers added up 9 times, which is the 9 cubic faces. Same here was 4 by 4 by 4. And the same numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And you add up the fractal ghost numbers and you divide it by this original central ghost number 336, gets you 16, which is the 16 faces, cubic faces, or cubes to a face. And the nested cube is just this 4 by 4 by, or 2 by 2 by 2 again. It's nested, it just repeats itself. Well, I did the same thing with, and I'll show you in a second, all the paperwork I did. But I come to find out that the central ghost number of the multiplication cube 4 is encoded somehow, like on the cubic faces, and it's multiplied. It's not divided into, like in an addition cube. It's not divided into this fractal central ghost number. It's multiplied by itself 4 times for the 4 cubic faces, and that gives the fractal central ghost number. So it's like the inverse operation of addition. You multiply for the central ghost number 4 times, or 9 times to get this number, or 16 times by itself to get this number, or 25 times by itself to get this number, or 36 times by itself to get this number. Now I'll start with this, 36. That's this right here. I'll move these out of the way. That's this right here, 36 times. If you imagine, none of these have 4s in them, but if you imagine 4s going all through these, you multiply 4 36 times, and you'll get this outer fractal number. What I showed over here just a second ago, this outer fractal number. But then there's a nested fractal number of these 4 by 4 by 4 going across. And so you just imagine 4 by 4 by 4, or 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 of the face, of one face. And that gives you the 16 nested number, which I'll get to in a second. It's actually, right here. That's 4 by 4 by 4. And that has its own nested cube, but I'll get to that. And the nested cube inside this is colored pink. That's if you can imagine, 4 by 4 by 4 by 4, or 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 gives you 256. So it works in reverse. It's the inverse of addition. It's you find the cubic number of the faces of 4. In this instance, where the central ghost number is 4, you multiply it that many times, the cubic faces. If you know the cubic faces, and you get the central fractal ghost number of all these nested faces. And here's a face here's a nested cubes, and here's a nested cube that was, or here's a 5 by 5 by 5 cube, and there's the nested cube in here, of the 3 by 3 by 3, which the nested cube is it's a 9 nested cube, that same number here. And then this is the outer fractal number that you get by considering 4 on each of those cubic faces, even though there's no 4 there. And then right here is it's a 4 by 4 by 4, and it has its own nested cube of a 2 by 2 by 2. And here's the outer fractal ghost number you get by considering each face with a 4 in it, and multiply that 4 by itself 16 times. Gives you that number. So this is the inverse operation of addition. Instead of knowing the fractal ghost number and dividing the central ghost number into the fractal central ghost number, you start with knowing the cubic faces, and you divide those, you multiply those by the central ghost number those many times to give you the fractal central ghost number. So it's the opposite operation. And here's a 4 by 4 by 4 lastly. And this fractal central ghost number is 256. You get that by multiplying 4 by itself 4 times, which is 4 cubic faces of a side of a face of the cube. So I hope I demonstrated this addition fractalization is the inverse of multiplication fractalization. That multiplication encodes the central ghost number on the surfaces of the cube, the central ghost number. Thanks a lot.